Hi, well good morning. Oh, let me just take a seat and welcome back to the channel. So, we left Jacka this morning and the first thing we had to do, I think I mentioned it in the previous vlog, we had a little warning light come up on the van about tyre pressure. Now, the really annoying thing about these complicated computerized modern vans is they've got all these sensors on them, and quite often it isn't the problem with the problem that it's telling you about, it's a problem with the sensor. We had this last year a couple of years ago in Torridon, where it said the brakes weren't working, but it was actually just the brake sensor. But tyres, let's go and check out the pressure. So we went into a Repsol garage and plugged it in, and sure enough, the pressure on the driver's side front was reading about 0.3 below what it should be. So we thought, I would just fill that up. Nothing. And every time I pressed the button, a little bit of air was released from the tyre. So I went in and got my best Spanglish on. And the guy came out.
Necesito ayuda.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Necesito ayuda, por favor. And he came out and he went, no, put it in. Another little bit of air came out. Pressed the button, nothing happened. Took it out, put it in. Another little bit of air, pressed the button, and I was going, oh. He just kept going, boop, boop, boop. Pss, pss, pss. I was like, I was like, it's okay, it's fine. No, he wanted to give it one last go. Now our front right tyre had even less air in it. So we then drove on to the next garage.
Which thankfully wasn't too far, only about 10k.
Yeah, and thankfully that one was working. Now the air in all of the other tyres was completely fine. We put the front right one back up again, and I'm pretty sure there's some way in the computer in this here to then reset the tyre pressure. But what we'll do is in the next day or so, when we leave this campsite, we'll test the pressure again. I'm pretty sure it's just the sensor. So that was stress number 1 finished with. Stress number 2 was specifically stress number 2 for this one.
The roads were a nightmare again. Windy, steep. Nigel seems to think he's Barry Sheen in the van. For those of you old enough to remember Barry Sheen.
And I'm kind of going, hey, this here's like we're flying. And she's like,
I'm like, look at the road, look at the road.
You know, whenever we take the van back, one of the things we have to check is how many sort of nail imprints are on the passenger side door. And see, on that point as well, apologies that we're not able to overlay any lovely sort of B-roll footage as we're driving, because that would involve someone
letting go of the door.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to have to be a little bit of kind of training in that exercise. But anyway, we arrived into Torla, and we've got to the campsite. Now, our plan today was we were going to do the main valley floor hike, very, very popular. But as we drove past the bus stop that takes you in, at this time of year in high season, private cars aren't allowed down into the park itself, so you have to get a bus.
And this was literally just after 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
and the queues were already really long.
So we've made the decision today. We had another hike planned. I say we. You're right.
I just go where I'm told.
I know. So we had another hike planned for tomorrow. Now we might do that today, or we might wander up into the town, wander through, maybe do another couple of hikes. The nice thing about it is we're here for 2 days. We can definitely do the other hike tomorrow, and it's probably a 1.5 mile walk to the start of that there, so we'll be able to get up there early.
1.5 mile steep walk, which he forgot to mention.
Good for the cast. And this one here as well. We brought ourselves to a lovely little corner of the campsite. Lovely, really
It is
quiet.
nice, got nice views of the mountain, but there should be 2 shower toilet blocks, and the one near us isn't open. So now it's like a 1/2 mile walk there and back to get to the loo.
40 steps or something.
But as a bonus, the bar here is open 8 a.m. to midnight.
So plenty of loos, plenty of toilet, plenty
And
of
there's
showers.
a little supermarket on site.
Supermercado.
Yeah.
And we're plugged in with the electric, and so we will make a decision on what we do. But welcome
Right now,
to
it's tea and coffee.
it is
again.
indeed welcome to in the Spanish Pyrenees, and it is beautiful.
I haven't really looked yet because I was trying not to look at the scenery as we were driving through it.
It's like record some B-roll. Record some B-roll. Oh, I have to start buying B-roll from an online shop for the Pyrenees. Right, coffee time. And we're off.
Oh, I see what she means.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Just spoke to the lady at the campsite and she said, this is a really complicated path. You need a map.
which we do have.
Which we don't have. And she said it's a very small path, and already I can see what she means. So I think this is going to be tricky.
So basically we're going to try to do the Mirador de Malar, Molar.
Molar.
Which
I said it
basically-
several ways. She still didn't really understand.
It's a viewpoint basically off the main canyon here in Odessa. But if we don't, if it gets a little bit too, because we don't have maps.
We have no idea where
Yeah.
we're going, what we're doing.
Well, I
as
do
usual.
have some offline mappy digital stuff, but
She
anyway.
said to me, "You need a map," and we haven't got one, so we'll make it up.
Anyway, literally just left the campsite and almost fell over, and we're going up this little path, but the views, just stand here and look at the views, then go to the bar. Right,
Yeah, we might be back at the bar sooner than you think if it doesn't go well.
let's do it. So we are just under halfway up the main climb up.
Is this the church?
No,
Are you sure?
no,
Don't ever come on a guided hike with us.
no.
It's humid. Thankfully, the sun's in at the moment because it's so warm.
So we started at just under 1,000 meters. We're now at about 1,500 meters,
So we're about halfway.
and we
think.
top out at 2,000 meters. But those 2,000 meters, I believe, are climbed in the first section. So some gorgeous views down to Torla, where we came from.
I can see a swimming pool. Oh, I'd love to be in there right now.
Well, and we're back on we just came out of the sort of little tiny path, and there was a car going past. Well, actually, Nicola thought it was a plane.
We're so high, it couldn't
And then-
possibly be a car.
And then the car went past, and she was like, "You, man!" I'm going, "His window's open. He's done nothing wrong."
Anyway,
Right.
we're going to check out this church, see if it is Santa Anna. We'll let you know.
No, I don't think so. Well, that's us now at about 1,700 meters. There's an interesting little
Lost. Like a tricky,
Climb up.
Yeah, that'll be down on my bum, I think, that bit.
little shield. So another 300 meters or so to go. The most annoying thing about this walk, those blooming flies. They are literally getting everywhere. But yeah, so another 300 meters or so to go. And then, well, off the climb, and then looking at the contour maps, I think the rest of it's kind of maybe a bit flatter.
Do you
So
think we're going up there or up there?
up there.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That looks a bit scary.
And someone also just informed me that we've got pasta for lunch, and she didn't bring any forks.
Ah, that's what your fingers are for.
I've got more fingers than you. Actually, that's
You
weird.
could use your toes as well.
Giving away my secrets. Right, let's keep going. Enough of this chatter. We're at 1,820 meters. 100 and... What?
I think you said 824 back there.
Well... Good job.
Oh, this bit's tough. This bit's tough.
Another 175 or so to go. Over, we think, about half a mile. And then, hopefully, looking at the gradient map, things level out for the last mile and a bit. I think it's 7.5k out to the
Oh.
viewpoint. And by the time we get up here, we'll have done about 3.5 miles, so about another mile to go.
mile. But if it's on the flat, that's fine. It's just this forest bit, if you come up here, it's quite steep and you haven't really got steps very much, and that's
Also,
what makes it difficult.
We hadn't seen another soul on this hike, and we came across what can only be described as, if that came out of a human, they've got bigger problems in this climb. But Nicola then starts shouting at the top of her voice, "Mr. Hanky." And then literally, lo and behold, hiker coming walking down.
We hadn't seen anyone the whole time.
Proper Mr. Hanky. If there hadn't been, and I hate this here, toilet paper beside it, I would have thought, are there birds in this area? Because that was a...
And it was very strange colour, so I don't know what they've been eating. Anyway, there's a forest, people, you know, walk another like 50 feet,
it was right
there's
on
a
the path.
forest.
But yeah, Mr. Hanky at the top of her voice, just as another hiker came down. Right,
Oh well, I've got to live up to my English reputation of everyone hating us.
another 170 metres to go. And I'm not sure whether that was the Santa Ana or not, but...
Well, there's no other church we've seen since, so I think it must have been, and there's no other signposts. So
Place bet now!
you might be a bit disappointed if you get them and go, is that it? But anyway, I'm rambling now because I just want to get to the top.
There should have been a signpost for that poo. Was that big? Oh yeah, I probably should have told you. We could have just got a lift up.
It does this every time.
So we've now broken out of the forest. We're now on that sort of access track that obviously is accessible by, that looks like a camper van. And yeah, so the instructions were, the most difficult bit is 3k to Santa Ana. That was Santa Ana. Funny it didn't have any signs on it. And then it's 1,000 metres over 6k. And then the last k is obviously on a more flatter.
Whereas I would have said the harder bit was the forest, but it depends which.
I would have said the hardest bit was getting over that poo. Well, we're almost there.
We think we've got half a mile to go.
And we've got about another 10 metres of climbing to do. So, and yeah, this is part of the PR hike through 129 route. That I think you can also visit a one of those sort of mountain refuges as well. So, but you can start to see the views open up. So I think now this last half a mile is probably going to give us some rather spectacular views and probably some interesting drops down to our right hand side, because looking again at the contour map, yep.
Oh look, my favourite, sheer drops.
Goodness me. Wow.
Is that right? That wouldn't be ice over there.
Bit of snowy little snow patch, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Wow. I say again, wow.
Yeah, this was worth it. This was worth it. We don't think we think we've got to go to the end, but I mean, this is amazing.
Goodness
Anyway.
me, it's right the way down. That's beautiful. And that's why we drove 600 miles over 2 days to get back into the mountains.
Reminds me a little bit of the Grand Canyon, the way you got the different coloured rocks.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. Wow, wow, wow.
I tell you what, I won't be impressed if that's a coach load of people.
Beautiful.
Right, should we see what's at the end?
Let's go.
You were up there.
Didn't think you'd see that.
I'm so glad you told me to come this way. Oh my word.
Wow. And we've found a perfect little lunch spot.
Oh my word.
Now there you go.
Oh,
There's a view and a half.
oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's terrifying. You were up there. You were up there. Seriously, what were you doing?
Trying to find somewhere to sit down and eat my pasta. Well guys, that's us well and truly satisfied with some pasta and some wonderful views. Bit of a finger buffet going on. Eating with your fingers, child's play. It's pretty, a stunning, stunning place. But we got to this, obviously, this is the Mirador walk, and it's ViewPoint. So we're at the ViewPoint, and in fact we had lunch up at the other ViewPoint. But the path kind of seemed to suggest it was going to go on.
And I kind of wanted to keep going. And I think it's because, well, you all know I struggle with anxiety. And I find that I actually probably enjoyed the hike part more than the viewpoint. I mean, it's beautiful, it really is. But the hike was difficult, it kept me occupied, it took my mind off things. And it's like we got to the viewpoint and then I'm like, right, okay, that's really lovely, but I need to now do something else. I can't just be in the moment. And that's something I really struggle with. And I'm sure a lot of people do. I don't seem to be able to enjoy things as you should enjoy them.
We're working on it,
which is
though.
quite sad.
We're working on it. But yeah, we're at the viewpoint, and then next thing you know, she's kind of wandering past the viewpoint, and I'm like...
But I didn't go any further because the path got a bit tricky and I got a bit scared after all that.
Anyway, it is a stunning place.
It's worth doing.
Yeah.
It is worth doing.
It took us 2.5 hours to get up. It says on the guide 3.5 hours, so I think you could take your time on that. And I reckon it's probably going to take us about 2.5 hours to get back down again. It's
I'm using my poles to go down because I think it'd be a bit more tricky.
Yeah, 4.2 miles each way, so about 8.5 miles. It looks like you could, if you wanted to, get a 4x4 sort of transport up here as well. And in fact, again, I think I mentioned this whenever we were last in the mountains. I just love taking a look around and seeing other paths and other routes. I could spend months up here. Absolutely stunning. This is certainly my happy place.
If you come up though, just
watch
be
out for
aware.
the big poo.
Apart from that, it does get a bit chilly when the sun goes in. Even this time of year, I was a bit cold. The other viewpoint's a bit more breezy. It's lovely now, but just bring appropriate clothing.
Which we didn't wear.
No.
Right, guys, we are going to probably not record too much more on the way back down again. We're just going to stomp down. We'll probably catch up with you again back at the campsite.
Whereas I've got to then work, probably. Not happy about, but hey. It's Saturday. You shouldn't have to work on a Saturday.
Exactly. I'm going to work too. Work on my tan. Well, we're back at the van. We've done a couple of hours work, and now we're cooking the world's worst tea. I was supposed to be on some lovely pasta stroke curry duty tonight, but when Nicola goes to the supermarket and she's hungry, she always buys something random. And don't get me wrong, it's nice, but she bought an empanada, a big old empanada. So we had some of it yesterday for lunch. It was alright, but half of it now needs eaten up and we don't like wasting food. So instead of having a really nice, fragrant curry, lovely jubbly, we're having empanada, tinned potatoes, marrow-fat bloody peas, which I don't like.
Is that boiling yet?
No, but you might be setting fire to everything. Hang on a minute. Nicola says it's fine. Basically, if we have to evacuate in the next 30 seconds, you know it's not fine. And broccoli. I'm going to say she's going to be disappointed. Even though she's going, no, it'll be lovely. It's not going to be nice. It's just going to be bleh. Goodness me. Right, so that is us finished our first hike in the Pyrenees. And it was, oh, let me just get down with her. Get down with her. How was it for you?
It was good. It was good, yeah.
Bit of a slog coming down again, as is always the case. You end up kind of just going, I just want to have this over, especially the last couple of miles were just like through the woodland. And
yeah, it was harder coming down, definitely technically harder.
It was about 8.5 miles, 8.4 miles or so, so grand stuff. So we're going to have our sumptuous dinner. And then tomorrow morning we're off on a very popular hike, which is through the valley floor. We need to get a bus to that.
And if I get up early enough, I'm doing fried egg sandwich before we go.
She might just redeem herself with this whole food thing. But that is going to be a story for next time. Right, guys, once again, thanks a lot for
Will he
what.
get his fried egg sandwich or not? Sorry.
What have I done wrong?
Well, we haven't got long enough left for me to list it all.
Is that how we're going to end this? Or are we going to end it with one of your stupid waves again?
Bye.
There you go. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.